It came in like a whisper on a slowly turning night. Didn't shake the world around me, didn't flood me with its light. Just a softness in the shadows where my lonely used to live, till your kindness found my ribcage and taught my heart to give. I had wandered through the seasons with my hands too tired to hold, had forgotten how affection could feel gentle, could feel bold. But you touched me with a presence that no storm could override, and the silence broke to beauty when your love walked by my side. When love walked quietly into my life, it cut through darkness like a knife. Didn't rush, didn't shout, just cleared the dust of all my strife. And the night grew warm around me, like the world had answered twice. Every breath felt more alive when love walked into my life. I remember empty evenings where my hope was wearing thin, where I locked my heart in silence, never letting someone in. But your footsteps held a rhythm that rewrote my inner strife, till the quiet turned to music when you walked into my life. If the soul could choose its timing for the love it's meant to keep, it would choose a night of calmness when the world has fallen asleep. Oh, the heart grows soft and open when it sheds its old disguise, waiting just for someone gentle who will love it into rise. So I hold this newfound feeling like a gift wrapped in the air. Let the tenderness remind me of the days I lived impaired. For the world feels wide and certain, filled with peace instead of strife. All because you walk so quietly right into my waiting life. Some loves burn bright at midnight, then grow colder with the sun, leave their promises in shadows when the morning day's begun. But your love stayed on my shoulder like the warmth of something true, as the dawn came softly shining, I still felt the light of you. I've known kisses made of moonlight that dissolved at break of day, known the kind of whispered sweetness that the sunrise takes away. But your touch remained familiar, like a vow the heart had drawn, 'cause you gave the kind of loving that won't vanish with the dawn, the kind of love that doesn't fade at dawn, stays when all the night is gone. Every heartbeat used to tremble now grows steady, now grows strong, and the morning feels much brighter, knowing love can linger on. When you give the kind of loving that won't fade away at dawn. I've been searching for a feeling that could anchor me in place, something deeper than the aching, something warm enough to chase. And I found it in your presence, in the peace your smile draws on, in the love that holds the nighttime and still shines when comes the dawn. If two hearts can learn a rhythm that the daylight won't undo, they will find the kind of loving that grows deeper as it's new, and the sunrise paints its blessing on the hope they rest upon. When the love that stayed through midnight still remains at early dawn. So I wait with gratitude rising like a hymn across my chest. Let the morning wash in colors that your tenderness impressed. For the world feels calm and open, for the fear of loss is gone, 'cause your love stayed through the darkness, and it lives within the dawn. rush into my doorway like a wildfire in the dark. Didn't strike me down with thunder or ignite a reckless spark. It just drifted in so softly through the cracks I'll never see, like a warm September evening, touching wounds I'd never healed. I was sitting by my window when your laughter brushed my name. I didn't know how much I needed it for my nights to change their frame. But your voice felt like a whisper on a memory left undone, till the room grew full of color, where my shadows used to run. Love moved slow across my ribcage, like a tide that knows the moon. Not too heavy, not demanding, just a gentle healing tune. And the tenderness you carry didn't need to ask permission. It just settled in my breathing like a long forgotten mission. I had walked through years of weather with my chest too cold to warm, held my hope like brittle paper through the heartache and the storm. But your touch rewrote the stories I had folded into dust, till the pieces rearranged themselves in a heart that learned to trust. Oh, love came softly like a warm September wind, found the door I barred within. Didn't push, didn't plead, just touched the places worn and thin. And the night began to shimmer where my doubts had always been. Every moment turned to golden when love brushed against my skin. You taught me the quiet courage of a hand that doesn't shake, of a smile that's given freely, not a kindness born of ache. And I realized in your presence how my fear had shaped my days. But your love moved like forgiveness in the most disarming ways. We walk roads without a promise, but with honesty instead. You were steady as the twilight, I was learning not to dread, and the sky turned soft and open as our steps aligned in time, till the world felt full of music and the silence sounded fine. If love must choose its entrance, it prefers a simple door, one that creaks from years of waiting, one that's weathered by the war. For it knows that hearts grow tender when they're humbled by their past, and the quiet loves that linger are the ones that truly last. So I trace the shape of morning on the warmth you left behind, found the comfort of believing in a peace I rarely find. And I whisper to the sunlight as it spilled across my chest, I was broken when you found me, but with you I learned to rest. Now the evenings hold a softness that I never thought I'd feel. Every breath becomes an echo of a truth I know is real. For your love, when the nights grew long and brittle and the daylight felt too far, I would sit beside my worries like a man without a star. But your voice would break the quiet with a calm that felt like home, and the fear that held me hostage found no reason left to roam. There were winters in my heartbeat long before you crossed my door, frozen memories turning heavy from the weight of what I bore. But your warmth became a refuge in a world that turned so cold, and the comfort of your presence made me brave enough to hold. Didn't ask me for perfection, didn't judge the wounds I healed, didn't rush me toward the sunlight when the night was what I did. You just stayed with steady breathing like a promise made of gold, till I learned the art of healing in the warmth your love controlled. I watched years of quiet sorrow melt like frost upon your skin. Every moment spent beside you felt like learning how to begin. And the storms that once defined me slowly loosened in their fold, all because your shadows once patrolled. For your love remained beside me when the world turned tired and cold. You showed me that devotion doesn't have to roar or fight, doesn't need to raise its thunder to be powerful or right. It just sits beside you aching with a patience pure and old, till the trembling heart grows certain of the warmth it long controlled. I had loved and lost before you, had been broken by my trust, had believed that all affection turns eventually to dust. But your tenderness was different, quiet, steady, uncontrolled. A reminder love can linger even when the nights grow cold. If the world forgets its kindness, if the future's painted gray, there are loves that shine like lanterns, guiding souls along the way. And the ones that never falter when your fragile truth is told are the loves we spend a lifetime keeping close when life turns cold. So I hold your gentle presence like the rarest kind of fire, one that burns without consuming, one that lifts my heart up higher. And I know no matter what storms gather, what regrets unfold, your love stays warm beside me when the world grows dark and cold. Now the morning feels forgiving, and the night no longer bites, for your warmth remains a compass through the heaviest of nights. And I whisper to the shadows as they lose their icy hold, I survive because you love me when the world turned harsh and cold. Love found me on a morning when the light refused to rise, when my breath felt cold and shallow, and my hope was thin disguise. I had given up on sunshine, given up on gentle things, till your footsteps crossed my silence with the promise daylight brings.
I was staring down the memories that I never learned to face, holding sorrow like a keepsake in an old forgotten place. But you touched my shoulder softly with a warmth that felt enough, and the world that once seemed heavy grew less cruel and less rough.
You didn't ask me for confession, didn't beg me to explain. didn't pry into the corners where I hid my darkest pain. You just stayed with quiet presence as the dawn crept softly up, and the emptiness grew fragile when your love refilled my cup. I remember distant winters where I swore love couldn't last, where the best of my intentions always crumbled with the past.
But your kindness moved like sunlight through a room too long corrupt,
waking
things I thought were buried on the day I'd given up.
Love found me on a day I thought I'd given up. Lifted tears my heart had held like water, trapped in an old cup. Every dream I thought was broken found a breath to rise back up. When your tenderness came calling
on the day I'd given up.
you taught me how to hold joy without fearing it would break. Taught me softness isn't weakness. Taught me trust is not a mistake.
And the rhythm of your laughter turned my morning into grace, till the sorrows I had carried found no power in their place.
We walked roads that held their shadows, but your warmth outshined the gray. Showed me how to live with courage, even when I lose my way.
In the night that once felt endless, lost its hold on my back up. When your love became the linen for the man who'd given up.
Now the echo of the morning hums a chorus all its own, filled with tenderness and healing, in a place once overgrown.
And I whisper quiet gratitude for the day my life stood stuck, for love found me in the silence when I thought I'd given up.
If the soul could choose its moment for redemption's subtle rise, it would choose a dawn like that one, with compassion in disguise. For the heart learns new beginnings when a gentle hand is cupped, letting hope return like rainfall to the life that had given up. So I hold your quiet magic like a memory bone of light. Let it guide my trembling footsteps as I step into the night. For I learned that love grows strongest not when everything is up, but the day it comes to find you when your heart has given up. I loved you long before the words could shape themselves in sound, before I knew the weight of longing or the ache of love profound. You were written in my ribcage like a secret heaven sent, and I loved you in my silence long before I knew it meant. I saw traces of your laughter in the strangers passing by, heard the cadence of your footsteps in the rhythm of July, felt a warmth I couldn't place yet, like a soul-made monument. And I loved you in my dreaming long before I knew it meant. I walked roads that felt unfinished, like a story missing lines, that beat too quietly for a world that read in signs. But your presence fit the missing piece of every sentiment, and I loved you in my yearning long before I knew it meant. Distant evenings where the stars fell sharp and thin, where I prayed for softer seasons but kept breaking from within. Then you came like gentle rainfall, letting all my grief relent, and I loved you in the healing long before I knew it meant. I loved you before I knew what loving meant, before my broken heart was bent. Every whisper in my chest was a truth I never sent, and the day your voice grew near me felt like fate and accident. For I loved you without knowing what a love like this had meant. Your hands taught me forgiveness with a warmth both firm and shy, showed me grace could bloom from sorrow, showed me reasons not to hide. And the hush you carried with you turned my fear to soft intent, and I loved you in my learning long before I knew it meant. Your eyes held constellations I had once felt undeserved, drew me close without demands, and gave me courage unreserved. And the echo used to bury, trace the edges of your spine. For the man I am beside you is the one I represent. I had loved you in my future long before I knew it meant. If the soul could love in silence long before the moment comes, then perhaps it learns the melody before the music hums, and the heart grows its devotion in a place so innocent that we love before we realize what a love this deep has meant. So I whisper to the moonlight shining low upon your hair, knowing every breath beside you is a prayer beyond compare. For I loved you without knowing, without proof or testament, and I love you even deeper now I know what loving meant. Love me in the quiet hours when the world had closed its eyes, when the moon was barely glowing and the night cut down its size, when my breath was thin and fragile and my heart refused to thaw. You held all my broken pieces in the hours no one saw. You didn't wait for daylight or for clarity to bloom. Didn't need a perfect version, didn't brighten up the gloom. You just stayed with steady kindness as my trembling tried to draw. Every fear I couldn't voice yet, in the hours no one saw. I had lived in old abandon, built my walls with careful hands, kept my silence like a fortress built from unfulfilled demands. But your softness crossed the threshold without judgment or applause, and you love this weary soul in the hours no one saw. I remember distant evenings where I begged the dark for rest, where my thoughts grew loud and heavy, pressing hard against my chest. But you found me in those moments when my strength was stripped to raw, and you loved my quiet hurting in the hours no one saw. You loved me in the quiet hours nobody saw, where my hope was blurred and flawed. Every wound I tried to hide facade, till I learned to love you back in the hours no one saw. We whispered truths at midnight that my daylight couldn't hold. Shared confessions made of trembling, warmed by blankets in the cold. And the honesty between us felt like grace without a flaw, growing deeper in the shadows, in the hours no one saw. Now the nights no longer scare me, when they settle in their hue, for the darkness holds a softness I discovered next to you. And the man I found becoming learned to love without withdrawal, 'cause you cherished every version in the hours no one saw. If a love is truly sacred, it appears where we are weak, not in triumph or performance, not in words we bravely speak, but in moments barely breathing, where the world forgets its law, and our souls are seen completely in the hours no one saw. So I hold you in the moonlight, paints its silver on your face, for the memory of your kindness never loses time or place. And I'm grateful that you love me when my heart felt stripped and raw, for the truest love you gave me in the hours no one saw. You held my heart so gently that I barely felt the weight. Didn't force it into rhythm, didn't hurry it with fate. Didn't ask for all its stories or the roads it used to travel. You just held it with conviction, without asking for its map. I was used to love demanding proof of where my footsteps led, of the scars behind my ribcage, of the thoughts inside my head. But you welcomed all my silence, all the truths I couldn't write, and you held my fragile heartbeat without ever asking Matt. Your kindness moved like water through the places I concealed, wasn't rushing to uncover what my past refused to yield. You just waited, calm and steady, letting time itself unwrap, and my heart grew safe and open in the hands that asked no map. I remembered years of wandering through a maze of my mistakes, carrying guilt like heavy luggage that no daylight ever shakes. But your patience drew a doorway through the places I would scrap, till my spirit learned to settle in the love that asks no map. The way you held my heart without asking for its map taught me how to trust the things I thought time could only scrap. Every fear I learned in silence, every scar I tried to cap, found its healing in your softness. When you held me without map, you didn't need to trace the footsteps of the man I used to be. Didn't question every shadow, didn't search for guarantee. You just saw the human being standing trembling in your lap, and you loved him without needing any blueprint or a map. I began to breathe in colors I'd forgotten hearts could feel. Found my courage in the spaces where your warmth made burdens heal. And I whispered through the quiet of a truth I couldn't scrap. I am whole because you held me without asking for a map. Now I walk this world beside you with a trust that feels brand new, with a heart grown soft and open from the faith I found in you. And I know my past is tame, full of twists I can't recap, but you choose me in the present, never needing any map. If a heart must travel blindly through the storms that shape its form, it will learn to beat uncertain, it will learn to weather storms. But a love that asks no questions is the safest kind of lap, where a soul can rest and flourish without ever showing map. So I give you all my secrets, all the corners worn and scarred, all the nights I felt unseen, or all the days I tried too hard. For your love remains the compass where my soul can overlap, in the way you held my heartbeat without asking for its map.
I was a man of leaving long before you came around. Had no home for gentle feelings, kept my footsteps off the ground. Every promise felt like danger, every closeness felt astray, till your love became the lesson that taught my heart how to stay. I had lived in quiet distance, even when my hands were held. Built my walls with careful measure from the stories time had spelled. But your kindness moved like sunlight through the cracks I pushed away, till the shadows lost their power and my heart learned how to stay. You didn't chase me when I trembled, didn't corner me with need, didn't beg me into safety, didn't rush my heart to speed. You just stood with quiet courage, letting fear dissolve its sway. And the trust I'd never tasted taught my heartbeat how to stay. I remembered lonely highways where I drove to disappear, where the silence felt like refuge from the closeness I held dear. But your voice became a compass in the fog I used to stray, and the man who kept on running found a reason now to stay. Your love taught my heart how to stay, not to tremble, not to sway. Every road I once escaped by grew less tempting day by day, and the life I thought was fleeting found a home in softer rain. 'Cause your love became the reason my lost heart learned how to stay. Oh, you showed me that devotion doesn't anchor, doesn't cage, doesn't bind a soul in iron, doesn't keep it from its stage. It just steadies every moment like a hand that clears the grave, till the frightened soul beside it learns it's safe enough to stay. We found joy in quiet mornings where the world felt freshly born, found delight in simple gestures, brewing coffee, talking warm. And the future, once uncertain, took on colors bright as May, all because your gentle presence taught my spirit how to stay. Silence or pretend my heart won't break. I just lean into your comfort, trusting love won't fade away. For your voice became a shelter where my chest learned how to stay. If a heart has lived in fleeing, it must learn a softer pace, must relearn the art of choosing, not escape a gentle grace. And the love that holds it steady is the love that clears its way, showing broken wings can fold back in a home that helps them stay. So I thank the quiet evenings when your hand reached out to mine. Thank the nights you stayed beside me when my fear was undefined. For the man who once was wandering found his anchor day by day, in the love that simply taught him how a fragile heart can stay.
You love me when I tremble, when my voice refused to rise, when my fears build heavy fences behind tired, worried eyes, when my steps turn cold and distant, pushing tenderness astray. Still your hands reached out with patience, even when I pulled away. I had learned from old abandon to retreat before I'm seen. Learned that closeness leads to heartache, learned to vanish in between. But your softness held no judgment, only warmth that chose to stay. And you loved through every moment when I turned and pulled away. Take it personal when my silence filled the room. Didn't blame me for the trembling, didn't rush me from my gloom. You just sat beside my shadows like a lighthouse in the gray, glowing softly in the distance when my heart had pulled away. I remember bitter evenings where I stood with clenched up fists, where the fear of being broken blurred my world in heavy mist. But your voice became a solace in the parts I'd gone astray, whispering love still present even when I pulled away. Found your warmth beside the freight. Though my heart was slow in healing and unsure of love's display, still your tenderness kept reaching when my soul had pulled away. Yeah, you taught me devastation doesn't mean the love is wrong. Taught me distance is a language used by hearts afraid too long. And the care you gave so gently didn't ask that I repay, didn't beg for explanation when my courage pulled away. You learned every quiet signal that my fear would send in cold. Knew the nights when I'd grow distant, when I'd walk a trembling road, and instead of closing doors, you left a light to guide my sway. So I'd find my way back slowly when my spirit pulled away. Now I breathe a little softer when I'm standing in your space. Feel the comfort of forgiveness when I fall from grace. And I know that learns distance as a shield, learns to vanish in the silence rather than to be revealed. But a love that waits with mercy slowly coaxes fear to stay, till the runaway grows rooted where devotion doesn't sway. So I offer you my gratitude in ways I couldn't then express, for your patience through my trembling, for your calm in my distress, for you stayed through every season when my heart had gone astray, and you loved me without question, even when I pulled away.
You came into my life so softly that I almost missed the change. Didn't shift the world around me, didn't rearrange my range. Just a quiet, steady comfort in the rooms where pain had seated. And before I even noticed, you became the peace I needed. I had lived through years of chaos, carried storms beneath my skin, built my life around survival, never letting calm begin. But your presence moved like stillness where my aching heart had pleaded, and the noise inside grew gentle when you brought the peace I needed. You didn't try to fix my history or erase the things I'd done. Didn't rush to cure the heartache, didn't force the healing run. You just stayed with open patience where my loneliness had seeded, till the ground began to soften from the peace you knew I needed. There were nights I shook with worry, nights I barely touched the floor, nights I held my breath in shadow just to make it through once more. But your voice became a whisper in the fear I'd once conceded, and your calm replaced the trembling with the peace I never heeded. You became the peace I didn't know, where the noise inside receded, where my breath grew slow and steady, where old wounds were finally treated. Every fear I kept in hide quietly became defeated by the love and quiet presence of the peace I never heeded. You taught me rest is not surrender, taught me calm is not retreat,
Showed me gentleness as power, showed me softness can compete. And the storms I'd always carried slowly loosened, slowly pleaded for a moment of surrender to the peace I truly needed. I found warmth in subtle gestures, in your silence, in your smile, in the way you never hurried when my trust took its own mile. And the world I thought was broken grew far less sharp, less impeded when your presence shaped my breathing with the peace you knew I needed. Now I greet each morning kinder than the man I used to be. Walk with footsteps less defensive, let my heart move openly, and I trace the soft arrival of the life your love preceded. For your tenderness delivered every piece I never heeded. If our heart has lived in battle, it may fear a quiet room, may confuse the lack of thunder with a thread of deeper doom. But a love that brings authentic calm is never to be conceded, for it builds a home inside you, full of peace you never heeded. So I hold your gentle presence like a lantern in the night. Let it guide the parts within me that once flinched from any light. For the man I've slowly blossomed into now stands undefeated, all because you love me softly with a peace I never knew I needed. I carry sorrow like a suitcase I had dragged from town to town, held it tight though it felt heavy, like a life that pulls you down. But you took it from my fingers with a tenderness unfelt. Your love began its changing, turning sorrow into shelter. You didn't say forget your burdens, didn't tell me just move on, didn't shame the weight I carry or insist the ache be gone. You just let my pain have presence, let it tremble, let it melt, till the darkness found a refuge in the shelter your love dealt. I remember lonely evenings when my grief had no place left, when I sat with broken memories, feeling hollow, cold bereft. But your arms became a harbor where my storms could stand unfelt, and the winter in my chest turned to shelter through your help. You taught me sorrow isn't weakness, it's a truth the body bears. Showed me tears don't mean destruction, they're a language hope repairs. And the heaviness I carry slowly loosened where I knelt, as you turned each wounded memory into shelter when it dwelled. The way your love turned my sorrows into shelter, made my heart beat stronger, steadier, softer, better. Every bruise I kept in silence found a home that didn't falter, and the nights that once felt endless began losing all their shelter. In the warmth your hands delivered, turning sorrow into shelter. You didn't run when I was fragile, didn't leave when I withdrew, didn't flinch when tears grew heavy, didn't question what I knew. You just held my shaken history like a truth you wouldn't alter, till the grief I tried to bury found its peace within your shelter. You traced hope along my ribcage with a patience rarely seen, showed my wounds a gentler meaning, turned my losses into green. And the years I spent in darkness slowly changed from pain to halter, as your love became the place where my sorrow found its shelter. Now I stand with softer posture than the man I was before, hold my past with deeper kindness, live with courage at the core. For I learned from your compassion how a heart can stand or falter, but with love like yours to hold it, even sorrow turns to shelter. If a heart has learned to carry storm clouds woven in its chest, it must find a place to rest them when the sky inside won't rest. And the love that holds those shadows without judgment or misstep is the love that turns our sorrow to a shelter where we're kept. So I lay my tired memories in the warmth your presence brings, let them soften into stories rather than forgotten stings. For your love became the refuge where my hurting learned to alter, and my sorrows found their ending in the shelter of your love falter.
fall in love with just the parts I let you see. You found corners in my spirit I once swore would ruin me. You walked softly through the shadows where my shame and fear collided, and you loved me without flinching in the places I had hidden. There were memories I buried under years of quiet stone, parts of me I swore to silence, parts I thought I'd face alone. But your hands moved like forgiveness on the hurt I long divided, and you stayed with gentle courage in the places I had hidden. You never forced the truth from me, never asked me to confess, never rushed my healing process, never shamed my brokenness. You just held my trembling stories like a truth you never chided, till my fears grew soft and pliant in the places I had hidden. I remember sleepless evenings where my past felt like a chain, where my thoughts turned sharp and heavy, where my breath betrayed my brain. But your presence brought a sweetness no old wound could push or override it, for you loved me in the fractures, in the places I had hidden. You loved me in the places I tried to hide, where the shadows lived inside. Every scar I kept in silence, every truth I pushed aside, you held steady through the trembling, stayed so patient at my side. For your love found every corner that I fought so hard to hide. You showed me that the broken parts don't make a person less, that the bruises of old heartbreak are not proof of worthlessness. You made room for all my failures with a kindness undivided, till I learned to trust you fully with the parts I once had hidden. Now I breathe with deeper comfort in the space your heart provides. Speak with honesty and courage where I once used fear as guides. And the man I've grown into now stands stronger, redecided, for you loved me through the pieces I spent years trying to hide. I've discovered in your presence what acceptance truly means. Not perfection, not performance, not pretending in between, but a love that holds the fragile like the rarest gem confided, keeping safe the tender places I once fought so hard to hide. If the soul has secret chambers built from sorrow, loss, and blame, it must find a gentle lover who won't flinch when faced with shame. For the heart learns true devotion when its wounds stand undivided, and the love it finds grows deeper in the places once kept hidden. So I offer you my stories, every bruise and every truth, every moment shaped in shadow, from my childhood to my youth. For you taught me love is bravest where the past is uninvited, and you love me
without judgment in the places I'd kept hidden. There were nights I couldn't face me, nights I barely knew my name, nights I questioned every heartbeat, nights I drowned in quiet shame. But you held me through the trembling, through the doubts I never tell, and your love stayed steady with me when I couldn't stay with myself. I had walked through silent battles, fought in corners dark and deep, held my fears like wounded soldiers I was too ashamed to keep. But you stood beside my aching when my knees beneath me fell, stayed with love so pure and patient when I couldn't stay myself. Didn't ask for explanation when I couldn't lift my chin, didn't punish me for weakness, didn't rush the war within. You just whispered, I'm not leaving, like a truth that could dispel every shadow breaking through me when I couldn't stay myself. I remember distant evenings where I vanished from my mind, where the mirror felt like stranger, where my thoughts turned unkind. But your voice became a guiding light that softly broke the spell, holding tight the fractured pieces of the man who lost himself. You loved me when I couldn't stay with myself, held me gently, offered help when my heart was frayed and shaking, when my breath cried out for help. You remained through every weakness while my spirit nearly fell, for your love stayed right beside me when I couldn't stay myself. Taught me self-forgiveness, though it scared me to the bone. Showed me healing isn't linear, showed me strength in being known. And the quiet grace you carry slowly filled the inner well, till the man I left behind found a reason to be felt. Now the nights feel less restraining, now the shadows lose their teeth, now my doubts don't pull me under, now my grief learns how to breathe. And I owe it to your presence, to the grace you gave so well, for your love stayed in the darkness when I couldn't stay myself. I am learning how to hold me with the patience that you gave, learning softness is not weakness, learning broken hearts can break, learning love can be the harbor where the wounded come to dwell. For you showed me I was worthy even when I lost myself. If the heart forgets its meaning, in the storms of inner fight. It must lean on gentle lovers who can anchor it to light. For the soul finds restoration where compassion chose to dwell. And I found my second heartbeat when I couldn't stay myself. So I thank you for the evenings where you held my fear at bay, for the midnight reassurances when my strength had slipped away. For you loved me through the breaking with a grace no words can tell. You stayed loving, stayed unshaken when I couldn't stay myself. My heart once spoke in silence, in unspoken, fragile tones, in the language of avoidance, learned from years spent all alone. But your presence moved like sunlight through the cracks my past had gotten. And your love began translating what my heart had long forgotten. I had grown too used to quiet, to the safety of withdrawal. Kept my feelings locked and guarded, bound by self-protective law. But you lingered with compassion where my confidence was rotten, till my breath began to whisper what my heart had long forgotten. You didn't ask for fluent warmth, didn't rush my timid speech, didn't force my hand to open or demand emotions reach. You just listened with a patience that no fear could once downtrodden. And you taught me how to speak what my heart had long forgotten. Ooh, oh. There were phrases built from heartbreak I had folded into dust, words like safe and held and cherished, words I struggled still to trust. But you said them without pressure, made their meanings feel unbroken, till the language reawakened that my heart had left unspoken. You taught my heart a language it had forgotten, made old meanings feel unbroken. Every word I feared to feel became gentle, soft and woven. And the voice inside my ribcage grew less fragile, less downtrodden, when your love began rewriting what my heart had long forgotten.
perfection doesn't need to or shine, doesn't need a grand announcement to be powerful and kind. Just a steady, quiet presence where the wounds once sat begotten, till my chest relearned the grammar of a love it had forgotten. We found dialects and glances in the stillness of your hands, in the way you held my stories without asking for commands, and the tender translations blooming taught me hope could be begotten in the lessons of devotion that my heart had long forgotten. Now the sentences of living feel more open, feel more brave, feel more honest when I speak them, feel less shaped by past I gave. For your love became the teacher that my soul once misbegotten, and it healed the honest language that my heart had long forgotten. If a heart grows mute from sorrow, it can still relearn its voice, can still speak in softer rhythms when devotion gives it choice. For the grammar of true loving is a language humble trodden, yet revived by tender lovers when the heart is long forgotten. So I breathe in newfound phrases built from truth instead of fear. Let the words flow like the rainfall through the spaces once unclear. For your love became the dictionary where my wounded soul felt broadened. You restored the sweetest language that my heart had long forgotten. There were pieces of my story that I swore were best untold, parts of me I once abandoned, parts that left my spirit cold. But you found them in the shadows where my shame had cast its sway, and your love held all the pieces I had tried to throw away. You didn't fear the broken chapters, didn't flinch at jagged lines, didn't treat me like a project needing polish to align. You just saw the human being made from grief and disarray, and you held me through the fragments I had tried to throw away. I remember the years of hiding, every flaw and every scar, thinking beauty only counted when the pain stayed from afar. But you traced each mark with reverence, called them proof I'd lived my way, till I learned to see the value in the parts I'd thrown away. You told me healing isn't tidy, isn't perfect, isn't clean, that a heart rebuilt from ashes still holds power in between. And the hurt I called unworthy slowly softened in your sway, as you held the parts with tenderness I had tried to throw away. Love held the parts of me I tried to throw away, stayed with them, chose to stay. Every piece I once rejected found your warmth in soft array, and the wounds I thought were worthless found a meaning in your way. For your love kept holding tightly what I tried to throw away. Must be buried to be healed, that the messy truths we carry shape the love we later feel. And the shame I once protected slowly melted day by day, as your kindness kept embracing what I'd pushed so far away. Now I breathe in deeper comfort with the man I've grown to be. Hold my past without resentment, see it shape my clarity. For your gentle affirmation rewrote stories of decay, till I held the parts with mercy I had tried to throw away. And the pieces once discarded formed a mosaic bold and true, made more beautiful by mending, made more whole because of you. For the love that keeps on choosing where the wounded hope still sway, is the love that holds together what we almost threw away. If a heart has lived in ruin, it can still be gathered whole, still be pieced together tender by a patient, loving soul. And the cracks we feel will shame us, become guides for light's pathway, when a love stays strong enough to hold what others throw away. So I thank you for your courage in the moments I withdrew, for the grace you gave the fragments I believe no one could view. For you taught me true belonging isn't earned, it's given sway, when a love holds tight and gently what we almost threw away. You saw something in my spirit long before I learned its name. Saw hope beneath the surface, saw a fire beneath the shame. When I doubted every heartbeat, when my strength grew weak and dim, you were loving, not the man here, but the one I'd yet become. I was heavy with confusion, carrying years of quiet doubt, living small inside my ribcage, shutting every feeling out. But you looked at me like sunrise, breaking through a world gone grim, and you loved the man inside me long before I became him.
Didn't rush my transformation, didn't force me to unfold, didn't push me toward my future with demands or words of gold. You just held a space of kindness where the shadows couldn't swim, and your faith in who I'd grow to be helped me take the steps toward Him. I remember nights of aching where I questioned my own worth, nights I thought the world felt smaller than the pain I'd carried since birth. But your voice became a compass, pointing past the bleak and dim toward a man you somehow witnessed long before I stepped into him. You loved the future me before I even became him, held your hope though mine was slim. Every doubt that shaped my breathing found a steadiness in him, and the man I feared was missing stopped feeling faint and grim when your heart believed in someone I had yet to become him. You taught growth is not a straight line, taught me healing bends and breaks, showed me progress can be quiet, found in tiny steps one makes. And your patience wrapped around me when my courage felt too thin, till the path toward who I dreamt of finally led me walk toward him. Now I rise with deeper purpose, stand with posture made from grace, see a stronger, wiser version staring back at me in place. And I know the man I'm meeting blossoms slowly from your whim, for you love the man I'm growing into long before I met him. Your belief became a mirror for the self I couldn't see, showed potential in my shadows, showed a future meant for me. And the love you gave so steadily sharpened every faded rim, till the man I feared I'd never be now breathes because of him. If a soul is seen too early, it can bloom despite the pain, can grow tall despite its history, can grow gentle after rain. For the love that sees potential where the world sees faint and dim helps the heart evolve and rise into the man you knew it in him. So I walk toward my becoming with a courage wide and new, knowing love can shape tomorrow from the hope it holds in you. For the man I am becoming stands because your light stayed grim. You love the future me so deeply, I became the man within.
held a love so gentle that my spirit pulled away. Not because I didn't want it, but from fear I'd go astray. I had broken parts within me that I thought would lead to blame. So you held a love between us when I feared to speak his name. I was used to disappointment, used to leaving before loss, used to running from affection like a ship avoiding toss. But you carried something steady I was far too scared to frame. And you held the love for both of us when I couldn't speak his name. You didn't press for declarations, didn't ask for grand display, didn't make me prove devotion or demand romantic ways. You just nurtured what was blooming in the soil worn by shame, letting tenderness grow softly when I couldn't speak its name. There were nights I almost told you, felt the words rise to my lips, but the ghosts of past betrayals tightened fear around my ribs. So you waited without judgment, offering warmth instead of claim. And you held the love with patience when I couldn't speak its name. You held a love I was too afraid to claim, kept it steady through my shame. Every silence, every distance couldn't dim your tender flame. And the heart I feared was fragile found its courage in your aim. For your love stayed unrelenting when I couldn't speak its name. Oh, you showed me love is not a burden, it's a space where souls can heal, not a battlefield of proving, but a truth we learn to feel. And your open-hearted kindness helped my spirit lose its blame, till I reached for what you carried when I couldn't speak its name. We grew closer through the seasons, where you waited faithfully, where you showed me unconditioned. Doesn't mean you set me free. It meant loving without pressure, loving without need of fame, holding room for my becoming when I couldn't speak his name. Oh, now I stand before you certain of the truth I wanna give, of the love that's grown inside me, teaching me what it means to live. And the words that once felt distant now rise boldly without shame. For you held the love so gently till my heart could speak its name. Oh, if a love is meant for healing, it will rise in quiet form. Will not rush a wounded spirit with. Will not ask a heart to perform. It will hold the sacred silence where old fears no more inflame, till the truth can grow unbroken and the lips can speak its name. So I whisper now with courage what once trembled in my chest. Let the truth fall into daylight, let your patience manifest it. For the love you held so gently now returns without a claim. And I say the words with wonder, I can finally speak your name. I was trembling when you found me, carrying doubt beneath my skin. Didn't know how to receive love, didn't know where to begin. But you offered something steady when my trust was paper thin. And the love you gave was strong enough for both of us to step in. I had walked through years of silence, holding heartbreak like a shield, hiding bruises of old memories I had never let be healed. But your warmth became a shelter where my fears were slowly peeled. For the love you gave was strong enough to hold what I concealed. You didn't rush my transformation, didn't push my hands to trust, didn't beg me for assurance, didn't question what I must. You just held your ground with patience when my courage turned to dust. And the love you gave was strong enough to stay when mine felt rust. I remember darkest evenings where I drifted in my head, where my thoughts grew sharp and heavy, where my hope felt nearly dead. But your presence stitched the silence with a softness gently spread. And the love you gave was strong enough to lift me from that dread. The love you gave was strong enough for both of us, strong enough to hold my loss, every doubt I Carried inward, found your calm without a cross. And the man I feared was breaking learned his word through your redress. For the love you gave was strong enough to guide us through the mess. You taught me strength is not in armor, not in walls I thought I'd need, but in letting someone witness where the hidden sorrows bleed. And your tenderness grew louder than the lies my past would feed. For the love you gave was strong enough to plant a healing seed. Now I breathe in deeper moments, let my heart show where it aches. Let the truth come through my ribcage, even when my voice still shakes. For your faith became the anchor that no rising storm could break. And the love you gave was strong enough to rewrite my mistakes. I am learning how to meet you with a heart that's open wide. Learning love is learned in layers, learning trust is built, not tried. Learning you were never asking for perfection to reside. Just a man who slowly blossomed with your patience by his side. If a soul has lived in darkness, it may fear a gentle hand, may retreat from warmth too quickly, may not rise when love demands. But a love that stays unwavering through the nights of doubt and fuss is a love that's built with courage and strong enough for both of us. So I thank you for the evenings when you carried what I dropped, for the steadiness you offered when my heartbeat nearly stopped, for the love you gave so deeply when my trust was at a loss. For your love was strong enough for both of us, till my heart could bear its call. I didn't see much worth in me the day you took my hand. Didn't think I had a future, didn't know how hearts could stand. But your eyes held something certain, something hope could not disprove. And you loved me into becoming someone worthy of your truth. I was heavy with old failure, wore my guilt like second skin, carried years of quiet damage I believed no one could mend. But your voice became a lantern where my shadows couldn't move. And you loved me into becoming someone worthy of your truth. You didn't try to paint me brighter, didn't hide the parts I feel,
Didn't try to fix me quickly, didn't shame the scars I'd steal. You just offered me your presence when my worth felt misconstrued, and you loved me into becoming someone worthy to be viewed. I remember lonely winters where my heart froze on the vine, where I stood outside myself like someone reading a lost sign. But your tenderness thawed slowly the emotions I'd subdued, till I blossomed into someone you mistook for something good. You loved me into becoming someone worthy of love, lifted me when push came shove. Every flaw I thought defining found new meaning from above, and the heart I thought was broken grew a strength I'm now proud of. For you loved me into becoming. You taught me value isn't measured by the wounds a life can show. Taught me love is building quiet. Taught me healing can be slow. And a man I thought was empty found his purpose as it grew. For you loved me into becoming something whole and something true. Now I breathe with deeper fullness, walk with steps that feel like mine, speak with honesty I once hid, read my scars as redesigned. For your faith became the reason my lost soul found follow through. And you love me into becoming someone worthy next to you. If tomorrow brings me heartache or a storm I cannot shake, I will stand inside your memory, knowing love can still embrace. For the man I used to bury now stands tall within your view, and I owe that transformation to the love you steadily grew. If a heart has known rejection, it may doubt what love can heal, may believe it must perform or hide the bruises it conceals. But a love that stays consistent teaches worthiness anew, and it builds a deeper person from the fear they once withdrew. So I thank the love you offered, thank the patience you displayed, thank the way you saw a future in the man who felt afraid. For your love rebuilt a human from the ruins I walked through.
becoming someone worthy next to you.
Your love never asked for thunder, never needed grand display, never begged me for confession, never forced my heart to sway. It just stayed through every season when my doubts got in the way. And I learned the strength of quiet in your steady kind of way. I had lived inside my armor, carried shadows on my chest, held my breath through conversations, fearing truth would show my mess. But your presence held a softness where my trembling came to rest. And your steady love grew louder than the fear I once possessed. You didn't push me toward the sunlight, didn't drag me from my gloom, didn't tell me what to conquer, didn't rush my healing's bloom. You just filled the air with patience every time my trust resumed. And your steady love kept holding where my heart made too much room. I remember lonely evenings where I fought the world alone, where the silence felt like failure in a voice I didn't know. But you stood with quiet courage when my hope had barely shone. And your steady love reminded me I didn't walk alone. Steady love, the kind that doesn't shake or leave, the kind that holds when I can't breathe, the kind that rises through the grief. Steady love, the kind that stands through fractured days, the kind that never turns away, the kind my heart learned to obey. Oh, you taught me strength can hold in whispers, not just storms are burning bright, that the bravest kind of loving is the one that holds at night. And the man I am this moment grew from warmth instead of fight, for your steady love stayed with me when my spirit lost its sight. Now I walk with deeper courage, breathe with calmer, wider space, offer you the same devotion you once gave my broken place. For the echo of your patience left its mark, its steady trace, and your love became the anchor for the storms I had to face. Even now when doubt comes creeping, I remember how you stayed, how you saw the parts I hated, how you held the mess I made. And my heart returns in gratitude for the love you never weighed, for your steady love kept showing that my worth was never frayed. Ooh, if a heart has known too much of sudden, leaving sudden pain, it may think real love is fragile, may expect it to refrain. But the love that stands unbroken through the cold and through the rain is the kind that teaches healing to a soul that feared the strain. So I thank you for your patience, for the grace you didn't save, for the steady love you offered in the moments I misbehaved. And the man I am today stands on the strength you calmly gave. For your steady love has shown me how a heart learns to be brave. Your mercy came so quietly that I barely saw it land. Came in gestures soft and subtle, came in touches of your hand. Came in words you didn't speak aloud, but helped me understand that a heart can find redemption when another chooses stand. I had carried guilt like armor, worn regret like stitched up skin, held the failures of my history like a storm I kept within. But your kindness broke the silence where my shame had grown too thin, and your soft mercy would enter where my healing could begin. You didn't judge me for the moments where my fear had made me cold. Didn't shame the ways I stumbled, didn't measure what I told. You just stayed with grace unbroken, offering warmth to take a hold, till your soft mercy rewrote all the stories I'd been told. There were nights I felt unworthy, nights I hid behind my past, nights I thought I'd lose your patience, nights I braced for love to pass. But your presence stayed unshaken, like a truth meant long to last. And your soft mercy kept loving every part I thought was vast. Soft mercy, the kind that heals without demand, the kind that lifts a trembling hand, the kind that helps a heart to stand. Soft mercy, the grace that holds me when I break, the calm that meets my worst mistake, the love I never had to fake. You taught me mercy isn't weakness, it's the courage to forgive. It's the choice to stay when someone has forgotten how to live. It's the whisper I'm not leaving when the world feels negative. And your soft mercy became how my tired soul could give. Now the man I am is rising from the ashes of my doubt, learning gentleness is strength, learning healing grows throughout, learning love can be abundant when soft mercy clears the road, and the light I thought had faded finds its way from inside out. I return your mercy slowly, with a heart grown brave and new. Offer comfort without judgment, offer grace the way you do. For the love you gave so freely taught me how to follow through, and your soft mercy became what my spirit clung into. If a life has known too little kindness, too much weight to stay afloat, it'll cling to every failure like a stone caught in its throat. But a touch of true forgiveness helps the injured heart promote all the softness it once buried, all the hope it failed to note. So I thank your soft compassion, thank the healing you proved true, thank the nights you held my sorrow when I didn't have a clue. For your soft mercy reshaped me into someone born anew, and I offer now with reverence all the mercy learned from you.
Hold me gentle on the evenings when my strength begins to fade, when my voice turns quiet shadows and my courage feels afraid, when the world becomes too heavy for the promises I've made. Hold me gentle in the places where my heart feels unengaged. I have walked through storms alone before I knew your steady light. Carried burdens in my ribcage, kept my fears out of your sight. But your tenderness grew patient when my armor grew too tight. Hold me gentle when I tremble through the middle of the night. Never asked for me to sparkle when my hope felt barely lit. Never blamed me for the moments when my faith refused to fit. You just offered warmth and mercy when my shadows used to sit. Hold me gentle in the places where my soul forgets its grit. I remember distant evenings where my thoughts grew sharp with cold, where my breath turned short and painful, where my strength felt undersold. But your hands became the comfort life had never let unfold. Hold me gentle when I'm fragile, when my heart needs to be told. When the night begins to bend, when my doubts rise up again, when I lose the strength to mend, hold me gentle with the kindness you extend, with the patience you defend, with the love that does
isn't chasing down the heartbreak, isn't taming every wire. It's the quiet act of staying when two hearts begin to tire. Hold me gentle through the moments where my fears can still conspire. Now I breathe with calmer rhythm when your presence fills the room. See my tension fall like petals from a life denied its bloom. For your love can turn the heaviest of storms into perfume. Hold me gentle through the echoes where my sorrow still resumes. I will lean into your kindness like a truth I can't forget. For your love became the shelter where my broken nights are met. Hold me gentle when I struggle, when the healing isn't said. If a heart has lived in darkness, it must learn a softer way. Must relearn the art of trusting hands that promise they will stay. For the gentleness of loving teaches strength that won't betray. Hold me gentle, teach my heartbeat how to stand and not decay. So I offer you my breathing, offer you my hope tonight. Offer you the fragile parts that rarely step into the light. For your tenderness has shown me I can loosen every fight. Hold me gentle while I'm learning how to love with growing mind. Stay with me in the hours when the world forgets my name, when the quiet feels like burden and my hope burns low in flame, when my breath grows slow and heavy from the weight of hidden blame. Stay with me through all the moments where my heart can't play the game. I have lived in narrow silence, learned to face the dark alone, learned to carry all my memories like a stone I couldn't hold. But your presence feels like sunrise, reaching places long unknown. Stay with me when I falter, when my courage barely shows. You never rush my conversation, when my words came soft and few. Never press me into answers when my fears obscured the view. You just waited with a patience only tenderness could brew. Stay with me when I'm learning how to be my truest self to you. I recall the night
nights of drifting, where my mind became a maze, where my chest held quiet thunder, and my sight turned dark with haze. But your voice became the lantern that could soften all the craze. Stay with me through the tremors, when my heart drifts from its way. Stay with me when the shadows grow too near, when the quiet turns to fear, when I'm fragile year to year. Stay with me when I lose what I hold dear, when my doubts refuse to clear. Let your love keep drawing near. You taught me staying isn't weakness, isn't binding, isn't chain, isn't sacrifice of freedom, isn't tethered to my pain. It's the choice to stand beside me when my light begins to wane. Stay with me through every season, till my heart can rise again. Now I hold your tender presence like a truth I long to feel. See the calm within your gestures, see the love that feels so real. And the man I'm slowly growing into learns how hearts can heal. Stay with me as I'm finding where my broken edges seal. If tomorrow brings new heartache or a ghost I thought was gone, if old wounds begin to whisper and my confidence is drawn, I will lean into your kindness like a steady, gentle dawn. Stay with me when the future needs a love to lean upon. If a soul has lived in drifting, it must learn how roots can form, must learn stillness is not danger, must learn calm is not a storm. And a love that stays without condition keeps a wounded heart reborn. Stay with me, your devotion is the place my fears transform. So I ask with quiet longing, ask with honesty and grace, ask with heart made soft and open, in the warmth of your embrace. Stay with me through every moment, every breath and every place. For your love has drawn me forward into all I dare to face. Didn't know where love was hiding till you placed it in my hand. Didn't know a heart could soften till you held mine, understand. Didn't know the weight of comfort till you taught my soul to stand. Now I know I'm walking forward with your footsteps in my land. There were nights I feared the future, nights the shadows closed in tight, nights I didn't trust my breathing, nights I lost my inner sight. But your voice became a lantern, guiding gently through the night. Now I rise with quiet courage, held within your constant light. You never asked me to be perfect, never begged me to be wise, never measured my belonging by the tears behind my gentle calm, where the world felt less imposing in the safety of your palm, where the rhythm of your breathing worked like some unbroken song. Now my soul finds rest and refuge in the shelter of your charm. Forever yours, in the quiet and the flame, in the joy and in the blame, in the hope we dare to claim. Forever yours, through the healing and the pain, through the sunshine and the rain, love that never needs the name.
Taught me life is not a sprinting toward the things we crave, not a battle for affection, not a race we must behave. It's a gentle art of choosing someone's heart in moments brave, and I choose you more completely every dawn the night forgave. Now the days grow bright with meaning, the way you touch my chest, in the laughter we discover, in the silence we invest, in the pieces we recover when our fears are put to rest. Now my life feels sewn together by the love you stitched the best. Should tomorrow bring its trial, should old wounds come back to call, should I tremble with the memories that once made my spirit crawl, I will lean into your presence where your strength outlasted all, for your love became the answer when my hope threatened to fall. If a soul has lived in shadows, it must learn the glow of day, must relearn the art of trust, must unlearn the urge to stray. And the one who loves it gently lights the map along the way, leading hearts to speak forever in a vow they dare to say. Oh, so I stand here softly breathing, with my heart laid open wide. Every fear I once surrendered now walks gently by my side. For the love you gave so freely is the love I now provide. And my soul whispers its promise, I am yours until the tide